Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry it's been so long since I've done a review. I took my family on vacation out of town for the last week and a half, so I've been gone, haven't been able to be around YouTube a whole lot. So a lot of your comments that you guys have commented on my videos, I'm going to be getting to those here in the next couple days and start thumbing through those. So sorry I haven't gotten back to you guys, but I'm going to push out a couple of reviews that I've been wanting to do for the last few weeks. So the first one that I'm going to do is the Strike King Red Eye Shad. So for some of you guys, this is a really long-awaited review because this is a very popular lure, probably the most purchased lipless crankbait right next to the XR50 by Excalibur. So I'm going to go over my thoughts about it and just tell you a little bit about this lure. Alright guys, so the Strike King Red Eye Shad. You've got two different versions essentially of the Red Eye Shad. You go to their website, they've got a PDF file of their catalog, and they show a silent Red Eye Shad, which only comes in a ½ ounce version, and then they've got three sizes in the rattling version. We have the rattling version. So the first smallest size is a 1/4 ounce version, so it's 2 1/4 inches, 1/4 ounce, variable diving depth sinking lure. The next one is the ½ ounce version, which is probably the most popular, not only in the Strike King version, but probably in any lipless crankbait. That 2½ inch size, ½ ounce seems to really get the job done for a lot of people. So this is the ½ ounce version, 2½ inches, like I said, ½ ounce variable diving depth sinking lure. And then they have the big one, which is the 3/4 ounce version. So it's 3 inches, 3/4 ounce, and again, variable diving depth sinking lure. Let me go ahead and show you guys the measurement, especially since I tend to forget this a lot. My measurement is saying about 2 5/8 of an inch. So it's right around that 2½ inch size. Whatever you guys, if you guys like fishing those ½ ounce size, this is that average size for a lipless crankbait. This is the one that most people are going to buy here. So I'm going to go over the rattling system inside of it a little bit. I've got my light here to kind of show you. This is I think this one's called Japanese Shad. Let's see, just make sure. Yeah, this is Japanese Shad, and I bought this just so I can kind of see through it to kind of show you guys the inside of it here. So we've got two different chambers here. I'm going to try to focus this so you can kind of see it, and we're going to do the best we can. But you can see you've got this baffle here on the inside, and you've got that partition is separating the two chambers. So you've got the chamber in the middle here that has about 8 or 9 looks like lead balls, and then you've got a chamber in the back that houses looks like only 3 balls in the back, and then you've got a chunk lead weight here on the bottom and a chunk lead weight here on the top. As far as rattling systems goes, it's not the loudest rattling system I've ever heard for lipless crankbaits. This is a one knocker in a XR50, but I just wanted to show you guys. That's not why I didn't show it to you guys for the rattle. I wanted to show it to you guys for just the comparison from side by side. But I'll show you guys what it sounds like versus like a Bill Russell or something like that. Or not a Bill Russell, excuse me. A Bill Lewis, jeez. Got basketball on my mind. So there's a Bill Lewis, and there's a Strike King. So you guys can kind of see what I mean by the fact that it's not the loudest lipless crankbait out there. But it's going to kind of tie into what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. The outside of the bait tends to not have it doesn't have a lot of features on it. It doesn't have any scales on it. It has a very, very subtle gill plate on it. It does have 3-dimensional holographic eyes. They call it a red eye shad, but you can see this one has a red eye, but this one has a silver holographic eye. So they've got I haven't had any problems with these hooks. They're not the strongest hooks. They do yield fairly easily to pressure from my finger here. Setting your drag on your reel will help alleviate the issues possibly that you might have from hooks, or you can just change them out if you don't like them. But I've never really lost fish because of the fact that the hooks failed me or anything like that. Maybe on a great big giant fish, or if you're out there fish hunting for that 10-pounder with a lipless crankbait, you might want to change out those hooks to something that's a little stronger. Here's the thing that I really, really like about this thing. It's not the rattling system. It's the shimmy on the fall. A lot of people talk about this unique shimmy that it has on the fall, and I think that compared to a lot of crankbait or lipless crankbaits out there, some of them have a really, really subtle one. This has a really nice controlled shimmy on the fall. When it's falling down, it's got like a really nice shake on the fall, and it falls down at a medium speed. And if you were to buy this crankbait, if you were to be somebody that just kind of likes fishing with lipless crankbaits and you have all sorts of them, I think that this one would have a good spot in somebody's tackle box because of the fact of that it has that unique shimmy on the fall. It's something that should be exploited when using this lure, meaning that when you throw this lure, you should be making sure that it has a lot of time to fall down, because that shimmy, I think, would be something that could catch you a lot of fish when other lipless crankbaits won't. Meaning that if you were throwing it out there and just letting it fall, that shimmy that this one does probably does it 10 times better than other ones out there. Now, be that as it is, it's a subtle shimmy, but it does it very, very well. And these big chunk lead weights really help keep this thing controlled while it's falling. It doesn't fall over on its side. It doesn't go forward or anything. It falls straight down, and it has a nice flutter to it. And I'm thinking that it has something to do with this design of the body. It looks almost by accident, but you can kind of see how towards the back here, it's got almost like a sharper edge compared to the belly, which is nice and fat. And then you've got another kind of pushed in sides here, right where the hook hanger is. And I think that they designed that shimmy into this lure, so that way when it falls, it'll go like it'll do that nice little flutter on the way down. And like I said, it's something that I think that you should exploit when you are using this lure. As you can see on the top, it's got an oval split ring. Something that's very overlooked by a lot of companies is that oval split ring. For me, I think it's really, really nice to have it, especially when you're tying difficult knots or knots that are really involved. They tend to make tying easier, because when you start tying, you really have to keep track of where the breaks are in the split ring. So that's something that's really, really nice. Casting, it's got average casting. For a lipless crankbait, it's just average. For any other bait in your tackle box, is probably, again, a lipless crankbait is probably just going to be your best casting lure that you have. It has a nice vibration that's felt really well in the rod tip. It stays true when you're running it on a medium to slow retrieve. So meaning that when it's running through the water, it'll stay true on a medium to slow retrieve. But when you start jacking it through the water really, really quick, it's going to start turning over on you. So it's probably not much of a burning crankbait. I'm sure there's people out there that have caught lots of fish on them while it's burning, but it wouldn't be my number one choice for a burning crankbait. So let's go over these colors that we have here. Like I said already, we got that Japanese shad right here. And the only reason I got it was because it was one of the more transparent baits that they have on Tackle Warehouse. But it's got that shad, not the shad dot, but the chartreuse dot here on the bottom. And it's just an overall brown, slightly transparent crankbait here. It's got a silver kind of pearl belly and nice looking bait. Probably wouldn't be my first choice of a color for a lipless crankbait, but again, that's not the reason I bought it, but I'm going to show it to you guys anyway. So here's Japanese shad. Next one I'm going to show you, I believe, is Sexy Lavender Shad. Yeah, we're going to go with Sexy Lavender Shad. It's just another shad variation. Strike King does a million of these shad variations, and this has just got a lavender on the top. And then you've got a little bit of a scale pattern going down the side on the top, chartreuse line, shad dot, and just an overall kind of a white-bodied crankbait. So should work well in those situations where you have where you need to have a good shad imitation. So there's Sexy Lavender Shad. I want to throw out something about this crankbait that people have had issues, and with lipless crankbaits, they really get beat up. All of them get beat up. All of them on the market. I mean, the eyes will fall out eventually on bait. So if an eye falls out on you on a Strike King red eye shad, it's not the end of the world. You can always buy ones aftermarket. The Strike King red eye shad is so cheap, you can always just buy another lure altogether. But the thing I want to talk about is the finishes. It's been a point of contention with Strike King that they've had a lot of issues with some of their finishes, that a lot of people have complained that they come off relatively easy. I think that if you stay with the more solid colors, like these, like the opaque ones here with the shad imitations, or even these clear transparent ones, I think you're going to be okay. I think that they're going to stay on there a lot. I think where they have an issue, which a lot of companies have issues with foil patterns, but it seems like Strike King has just possibly maybe a little bit more of an issue with it. I'm not going to throw them under the bus for it or condemn them for having issues with foil patterns. But if you want to have a bait that's probably going to keep its finish for a little bit longer, maybe you might want to stay away from the foil pattern finishes. Probably one of the most successful lipless crankbait colors is a chrome blue back or chrome black back lipless crankbait. So what are you going to do? Just wanted to throw that out there for you guys that have issues with it. It's just something to be aware of. So anyway, there's the Strike King red eye shad. Very popular bait. Like I said, it's not expensive. It's $5. So you can buy a lot of these for not a lot of money, and if you lose one, it's not gonna kill you and make you cry yourself to sleep. And when you lose it, I think that shimmy on the fall is definitely something that should be utilized, and utilized well in your tackle box. You pull out a lipless crankbait and say, you know what, I really want to have something that has a lot of action on the fall, meaning that they're not biting something that's being burned very well, or something that's really active, so you need something that has a lot of fall. Maybe throw the Strike King red eye shad. That's the way I'm going to use it. So that's the way I like using this bait. I think it's a good bait in that respect. The hooks are okay. Everything about the bait is just kind of average outside of that, but it's a really good bait. I don't want you guys to think it's not a good bait. It is a really good bait. So that's just my 2 cents about it. And if you guys like the video, hit the like button down here over here in the left hand corner. And sorry the video was a little bit choppy. It's been my first one in a few weeks, so we'll try to make them better. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks.